Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me here for a exciting short little episode here, short little clip. Kind of been holding on to this one for a while. I keep saying that, but when you have hundreds of them, but this one stands out. It's one of my favorites. Um, Not quite sure why I chose this one here, but um, it's the first of a new month, and I keep raising the bar and setting new goals as I move along through this whole YouTube journey with y'all. And I got pretty big goals and a lofty set of um, things I'm looking to achieve this month. It's going to be a lot of work. And no matter what, I'm proud of myself and I'm grateful for all of you for joining me here. So you can kind of see by the background thumbnail here, Lost Tribe of Israel found. I got the Indiana Jones hat. This one's really good. Special. Just reminds me this is like a clip out of a movie, this article. But yeah, time is precious. Let's hop right in here. Again, thanks for joining me. If you weren't aware, um, I got the memberships are live now. Um, with two stages, the first one just kind of being chat privileges, name badge, um, icons. Second stage, having access to an ad free video per week. So 4 per month. Only the second level of membership will have access to this video. And then I'll have a third stage that will include all three or all those first two, as well as a podcast. That should go live here in about 2 weeks. And I'm working on episode 1 of that podcast right now. For those that have been asking. So yeah, I'm grateful for all of you that have a deeper interest in my material. And as time permits, I'll continue to provide more of that. So yeah, means a lot that you're here. Means a lot that you're interested. And Patreon's in the works too. It's going to be a similar structure to the membership. That way, depending on whatever platform you choose to go with, you'll be getting the same material. So stay tuned for all of that. And yeah, let's get into this article here. So again, Lost Tribe of Israel. This is 1904 North Carolina newspaper. Peculiar race of people living underground in Central America. Chicago Chronicle. Colonel J.C. Tucker, former United States minister at Martinique, relates a strange story of a race of people living in an underground city in Central America. Colonel Tucker, some time ago, received information about a race who live in cities cut out of the rocks in the mountains in Central America in an out of the way place, very difficult to reach, and which no stranger has visited before him and returned alive. He decided to investigate. After reaching a certain point, Colonel Tucker had to travel 800 miles through wild jungles, carrying his provisions on a pack mule and enduring many hardships on the way. As he neared the hidden city, his every movement was watched and reported to the high priest of the tribe dwelling there, but no harm was offered him. When he shot a pair of lions in the jungle, which had been killing the natives, he did an act that turned out to be the very thing that gave him their friendship and protection. He was welcomed by the high priest, who spoke good English, and was shown through their wonderful city, hewn of solid granite rocks in the mountainside. To the uninitiated, the surface of the mountain gave no clue to the city concealed within. It was entered by secret passages, cunningly concealed by nature's handiwork, and which led to large, commodious rooms, handsomely furnished, mostly in old mahogany. Passages led to hundreds of other rooms and to a large hall in which the strange people met and held meetings, while smaller openings for ventilation went upward, ending among the rocks and jungles above, so arranged that rain could not enter. The tradition among these curious people was that they originally came from a country far away, and that their mission was to outwit their enemies, which in the beginning pursued them. At all entrances there were side rooms, from which, at a moment's notice, deadly gases could be let loose upon any hostile invaders who might enter, and which would kill them instantly, while by sliding doors of stone the gas would be kept from entering the city. The light of the sun, moon, or stars never enters their underground city except by certain openings, by which they study the mysteries of the skies, but they use electricity for lighting purposes, a science they have learned by keeping in touch with the outer world through their young men. The colonel says he was an attendant at their meetings and was surprised to find they were going through the Masonic rituals, which he, being a Mason of high degree, understood. This was an inheritance of theirs from their ancestors of the unknown past. Colonel Tucker has written many chapters about these people and their city. He has done so because he wishes to preserve the knowledge. He freely shows them to his friends and has yet made no effort to publish them. The proprietor of a well-known Eastern magazine, who visited the city of Mexico and who was given the privilege of reading the manuscripts with the provision that he would not publish their contents, offered Colonel Tucker first 5,000 and then doubled that amount if the colonel will pilot him to the city in the rocks. And he may yet do so. Colonel Tucker believes that these people are a part of the lost tribe of Israel. He has many old parchments they gave him, which he has been unable to get anyone to decipher for him, but which he hopes to have read by some one of the great scholars of the world, when the mysteries they contain in their time-stained hieroglyphics will be made plain, thus revealing to the world perhaps the strangest story that ever linked the dim past with the present. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Love that one. So powerful. Um, just resonates again so much again with what we've covered in the past. Um, so many translatable relations to what we've been hearing about all across my Anomalous America series, right? Um, one that really stands out is the oldest Masonic etchings unearthed ever were found in Arizona, and also reminds me of um, the underground cave Masonic Hall in Colorado. Um, yeah, just the stories are so much in tune with what we've been hearing about um, with the cliff dweller basket maker clans being driven south by an enemy, which we've heard be compared with Tartar tribes, Mongol tribes, Scythian tribes. Whether or not those are all relative, I think there's a bit of truth in each one of those. But what exactly they are, who knows? Or whom they are. But as part of this, I would like to share a little bit from the Anomalous America Arizona episode, just because I do believe there is a relation here. Prehistoric Masonry, Arizona, 1896. Relics engraved with Masonic emblems. Masonry is of an ancient origin, there can be no doubt. But history does not state that Masonry existed among the Aztecs or the Toltecs, the prehistoric tribes that thousands of years in the dim past flourished in Arizona. That is true that scientists have been unable to collect but little knowledge of these extinct tribes, for the only reliable evidence of the prehistoric existence of the races buried in the oblivion of ages are the relics that from time to time have been unearthed in the mounds, strewn over the valley and territory. These ruins in themselves are indisputable in proving that at one time a tribe of a fair degree of intelligence inhabited the country, but the reason of the total destruction of the tribes is purely guesswork. Although many plausible conjectures have been advanced, the length of time that the race inhabited the country, of course, is unknown and can only be supposition at the most that the people always lived here or were a nomadic tribe that settled here, the latter being thought very probable. At any rate, there are evidences that masonry existed, and it is a matter for scientists to worry over. 17 years ago, Bud Cummings of Tempe, Arizona, and another gentleman made a partial excavation of one of the numerous mounds near the city and were greatly surprised when they unearthed the seashell on which was worked in perfect relief a square and compass. The shell had evidently been worn as a charm around the neck, as a hole was through the shell. The relic was subsequently presented to Dr. Thibodeau, formerly of this city, who prizes it very highly. John Tate, superintendent of the orange orchard, is greatly interested in prehistoric relics and is always seeking to add to his collection. About a year ago, he was in the Indian village east of the city for the purpose of collecting relics from the Indians. He met a squaw and, after hard work, made her understand what he was seeking. She entered her habitation and from the ground dug up an old olla filled with ornaments, both prehistoric and the handiwork of their tribe. The ornaments were attached to a string, and in looking them over, Mr. Tate's attention was riveted on a small charm of red sandstone on which was plainly engraved the square and compass. He purchased the relic, and it is the most valued of his collection. A prominent mason a short while ago offered him a fabulous price for the emblem, but he would not part with it. Powerful. So to finish up here, we're going to jump ahead and we're going to read the article about a great cavern lodge, 1897. Arizona Masons meet in a mammoth cave, return to the first principles of the ancient order as exemplified at Solomon's Temple. In the written lore of Masonry, it's told the order had its birth in the cave quarries beneath Mount Lebanon, where the workmen of Solomon's Temple gathered at night and bound themselves a brotherhood, united in the triple cause of mutual protection, learning, and truth. In the earlier days of the guild, through the persecution that ever is allotted a cult that is new, the caves of Syria were the lodge rooms. But the days when masonry was deemed allied to the black arts are past, and not for centuries have the craftsmen of the order been compelled to hide their lodges like the foxes. In Arizona, there is a return to the first principles of the annual sessions of the Grand Lodges of the territory will be held in a cavern, not in a dismal quarry rough strewn with the products of the chisel and mallet, but in a temple of surpassing beauty, a great gift from the Supreme Master, unmarred by touch of human workmen. Large it is as the largest lodge room, with fluted frescoed roof, wondrous columns and pillars, such as mortal could never hew. The walls, the spotless white of purity, with here and there a stripe of blue of the earth. At the master's right hand, nature has placed a pedestal of creamy white that will ring like a bell under his gavel. On either side, the dice are snowy curtains of purest lime, through which the lights will shine, only mellowed by the barrier. Though the lodge room is 300 feet below the surface, it yet will be reached from below, and well guarded it may be, for the approach for rods is by narrow tunnel. Then the way leads up a short shaft and through a portal broken in the cavern's side. At the back, beyond the master's station, is another gateway, but one that only adds to the mystic influence of the place. Outlet it is, yet no man knoweth where it leads. Though the cavern's air is sweet and pure, no draught comes from the Stygian pit. No man has ever been lowered into its mouth, and lanterns swung down show nothing beyond the narrow slit, 6 feet in width, and unknown length and depth. Stones thrown within are never heard to strike the bottom. Such is the reward boundary of the lodge room. The location is at Bisbee, one of the most unromantic of mining towns, set in a gorge of the Mule Mountains in the southeastern part of Arizona. Down the narrow valley, the shanties straggle in the usual nerve-distracting way. At the head are the great smelting furnaces, surrounded by the growing mountains of slag. Below this lies the lodge room, down a shaft, along a drift, and up and uprise, where stolid Cornish miners broke through the side of the chamber. The room is approximately an acre in area and 20 feet in height. Underfoot, the white floor is almost level. Overhead, the dripping of lime water, long ago drained, has left the most curious tracery, much as though it has been remarked the cavern were in an iceberg and not in a coarser earth. The management of the Copper Queen is not in the mining business for sentiment. That the cave has not been disturbed is probably owing to the fact that the copper deposits cease in the surrounding rock. So work has been prosecuted elsewhere in the 60 miles of drifts and shafts that honeycomb the earth to a depth of 500 feet. Yet the manager of the mine, the senior of the noted Williams brothers, is not a man devoid of sensibility of fitness. He is withal a mason. He has offered the cavern for the Grand Lodge sessions, and perhaps the only modern departure will be to brilliantly light it by electricity. Yeah, so again, the correlations are deep, and these people were chased all the way into South America. You find a similar story with the Mayans, and the basket makers, the cliff dwellers. They tell a similar story, and these symbols are ancient, and the oldest ones, again, being found in America, here in America. So, yeah, lost tribe of Israel, peculiar race of people living underground in Central America, found all over America, really. Um, yeah, thanks for sticking with me and joining me here. June 1st, first episode of the month. And I'm going to be firing out a whole lot this month. A lot of new changes, a lot of new material coming. Um, so, yeah, blessings to all of you. And thanks so much for joining me through this whole journey. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day.